the spiritual healing journey for Western men. Now, I make videos in my past where I spoke about shamanism in the Western culture, which is of course different than shamanism, for example, in South America or from the Native Americans or from other cultures around the world, because we are dealing here, of course, still with capitalistic values. So we still are trying to operate within that system, even if we want to break out of matrix conditioning with our mind and spirit and soul. We still are dealing with practical matter like paying bills, paying rent, and all of it. Now, we could go and escape to a cave in the mountain looking for enlightenment and peace, and we can develop one of the most beautiful brains that can exist, the most peaceful brains that can exist. But if we cannot really share any of that knowledge and wisdom to the world by still operating within our modern day culture, then what exactly is the point? Then of course we are missing a sense of purpose. Now, it is Monday today. Monday stands for the day of the moon, which is related with the elements of Lagus. Lagus is of course water, but water has to do with the subconscious mind. As a Pisces myself, I'm kind of like the kind of person that always dives very deep within the subconscious mind. So when it comes to the healing journey for Western men, men used to be on the battlefields for hundreds of years, not even thousands of years. A lot of conditioning has been passed over from generation to generation to generation. Let it be patterns of violence, abuse, emotional neglect, or anything like that, or narcissism, aggression, the list goes on and on and on. So as little boys, we have been taking on a lot of conditioning from our upbringers, parents, ancestors, and so forth, which of course has developed our brain and whatnot. So for a lot of men, they not only experienced the neglect or the abuse, but a lot of them, they shifted into an, let's call it, a survival mode. With a survival mode, we are building up, let's say, armors in front of our heart in order not to feel the pain, the neglect, and all of it, especially when we were very, very young. Now, I noticed that still until the day of today, even if I've been working already in the spiritual healing department since 2012 and even way before 2006, 2008, I still notice, like, I get compliments like, hey, we enjoy your passion, your drive, your knowledge, your wisdom, it's all fantastic. But sometimes I also hear, I am missing a little bit of authenticity. I am missing a little bit of vulnerability, or I don't really feel what you are saying. Now, if this kind of issue occurs, like people come up with that and they hold a mirror in front of you, which happened to me quite a bit, I'm like, I got it all in here, but I can't really feel it in here. So what happened is that what we do feel is the frustration. We feel the anger. We feel we want to push back. We feel resistance. We want to be in control. We want to do everything from the mind. And although we know that that isn't really working anymore, obviously, because we are going through the fatigue, the burnout, the stress, the anxiety, depression, all of it. So that's not really working. But then we go into the path of breaking down our armors that has served us in order to survive, as that was needed. As we are now moving into a different time, we don't really live on physical battlefields anymore. So we can put down our armor, our weapons, and right now we are faced with different kind of challenges, different kind of demons and shadows of the mind, the spirits and the soul. And that is really the journey of the spiritual warrior that also must really face that what really exists within us, our emotional body, our energy body, and everything that exists within that. And Monday is always a good day for that as well. Like, who made it up that Monday is the first working day of the week? For me, that is not really the case. Although, sure, I must go and work and do things in order to pay the bills. But Monday is much more the day for looking at our emotional state of being. Like, what is really going on within our subconscious mind. Like, the healing journey of man is indeed going from here to here by first breaking down certain level of armors. Like, when I started off my journey in 2011, I was dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, and I was starting to feel like a little bit burned out from all my hard work and entrepreneurial endeavors and all of it. And I went to one of my first spiritual healing workshop as a young 22, 23, 24-year-old guy. Obviously the room was filled over 80-90% with ladies, midlife, 40s, 50s and beyonds, all these wearing nice purple dresses and purple scarves, and like, what the hell I'm doing here? I don't really think I'm supposed to be here, but at the same time I was like, I might be here for a good reason. And I was there, arms closed, legs closed, everything closed, and eventually I was going on stage and see the healer asked me, so what's going on? What can I do for you? I said, well, I don't know, you go and tell me, you know, you're the healer, you're the therapist. She said, well, so what do you feel? Well, I said, that's the problem, I don't feel shit, I don't absolutely feel nothing. And she was like, okay, so can you feel the fear of feeling your own feelings? And then it hit me, like, that was really like the beginning, like, whoa, what the fuck, like, that was feeding me the moment, like I was opening up my mind, my consciousness to a whole alternate state of being. It was like the roof was opening up and I was like looking straight into the solar system, the galaxy and all of it. I was like having an out-of-body experience, like I disassociated myself from the pain I was growing up in. That of course through this disassociation I started living only in my head, and even within my head I was always like living in a dreamy kind of state, never really fully present, never really fully there, always somewhere else, but not here, not in a moment, not embodied, not integrated, not grounded. These issues, these challenges has been going on for most of my life. That's why sometimes I say like ADHD, do we really have ADHD, or is that like part of our childhood trauma that we must look at our ancestral healing developments, but also healing this association from the trauma we have experienced when we switch it out of our mind, body and whole spirit and experience of being in that moment, because things were intense, the emotional neglect, the violence, the abuse, you name it. And where we disconnected ourselves from our body, our mind and spirit, and we can't really be fully there. And that's really the problem that we have for lots of modern men. And we try to go and seek for assistance, support, guidance within the normal, regulated healthcare system. And if you're not suicidal, you're good to go. You can go back to the workforce, because that's really where we need you. In corporate America, corporate the Netherlands, whatever your country you live in, because every country has become a corporation. They absolutely don't give a shit about your health. But even when you want to go like holistic and you want to go alternative, that's not scientifically recognized and approved, so you can't get insurance over that. So if you want that, it's on your own. That's kind of like the system we live in. Especially here also in the Netherlands, where it is a country at the service level, it seems like we have everything in place. We have infrastructure, we have systems, things are organized. And at service level, everything looks perfect, almost. Until you start really looking deeper within our society and culture, like 1 out of 5 workers, they struggle with burnout. Yet we have one of the most best work-life balance systems that can be there. Like, employees are even more protected than employers or companies. So we are really focused much more on middle-class comfort and convenience, but yet so many people struggle with things around chronic fatigue and stress, anxiety, depression. Why? If we compare our country, our system with other cultures, North America, South America, where people are just like 60, 70, 80 hours a week, hustling, grinding, trying to make ends meet, you don't hear people around burnout issues. So what we have is, of course, like, we are not really fully connected, engaged with our minds, body and spirits. And that's really the issue. Like, we have some sort of disassociation going on within ourselves, and we live at a very surface level in our survival minds that wants to keep us safe, secure, false sense of stability and all of it. But yet we are not really working and operating from a divine inspiration that can flow through us and that can be expressed by us. If that is the case, you're not working a single day in the week, but you're connected with a higher calling and higher purpose. But part of that higher calling or higher purpose is also recognized, like, we have a lot of filters to work through. A lot of conditioning, a lot of expectations we put on ourselves that has been passed over from external references, matrix conditioning. If we really want to step out of that matrix conditioning, which is the framework our society has, culture has given to you, like, this is how it is, this is how you should be living your life, instead of really recognizing, wait a minute, I have the authority over myself. I've got authority over my own body, mind and spirit, and that's really where I must take my responsibility. And it is first working through the emotional body. Like, we can feel the frustration, we can feel the anger, we can feel the isolation, the neglect that we have once experienced. Then we go further, deeper down to the core, and then we can experience the deep, intense sadness we have once had. The little boy that exists within us, that was never recognized, appreciated, respected, it was neglected, it was receiving a ton and a shitload of emotional baggage from our upbringers, situations that we were in, aggression, all of it. And we disconnected with that little boy, our inner child, of how we can actually experience joy within our own life. We disconnected ourselves from that, and that's how we start living in here, which is of course influencing the rest of our adulthood. Work, career, lack of purpose, meaning. It's going to be an effect in our relationships and how we do not want to engage in relationships at all. And therefore we are missing the internal framework of healthy masculinity. And the healthy framework of masculinity is needed to provide containment both towards women and other men. And that's really the will work that we are doing. So just a honest video for today. Let me know your thoughts. When I talk about masculinity, I don't talk about alpha kind of bullshit, because that's nonsense. That is still like operating within matrix conditioning, but more how can we build the internal framework to really reconnect with our higher calling, soul's journey, purpose, take care of our health, wellness, and working, and how can we really build a healthy personal identity that is more rooted in here and embodied within ourselves, shifting into a new kind of reality by rebuilding our internal framework. So if you want to know where you are at within your soul's journey, I offer one-on-one readings with the runes, which is a divination system which can help you to give insights of where you are at. And also I work with a transformational journey for at least 90 days where we really start rebuilding this internal framework. So if you want to know more, simply go to Germanic Wellness and just sign up for my newsletter. And of course, that's also where you can join our community, the Wolf Tribe for Men. All right, so looking forward to see you all in my next videos. Take care for now.